I was just hopping in here real quick to tell you guys that sorry for if you hear sniffling. I'm getting over a cold right now, so let's hop into the episode. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Next Up Podcast. What is going on, everybody? Today we'll be talking about some MLB news, NFL news, like we usually do, and a whole lot more coming up. Thanks for tuning in, and let's hop into it. So here for the first segment, I'm going to be talking about some NFL news. Well, the Patriots are still bad. What a surprise. The Patriots are still bad. Bill Belichick still now needs to be fired, like I said in the last episode. But before we get into that, I just want to tell you guys, I hope you had a very, very good Christmas, ate a lot of food, and spent a lot of time with family. So let's hop into it, and thank you so much for the support on the first two episodes here for the Next Up Podcast. It's been really cool to get into this and be able to do this here on the Next Up Podcast channel. So let's hop back into the NFL news. So the Browns and the Jets played, but it was on Amazon Prime or whatever, Amazon Prime Video, whatever. But the Browns beat the Jets 37-20. The Jets are not good. As we all know, Aaron Rodgers, their QB that they traded for in the offseason, got hurt on like the second play of the season. So that didn't help any. But so now let's move on to some other NFL news. So in that last voiceover line right there, I said that Aaron Rodgers got hurt. So we're going to now talk about my updated, I should say, Super Bowl predictions, because it's been almost a week now, a full week in the NFL since I have made my Super Bowl predictions last episode. So I think now it's still going to be the Chiefs, even though they're struggling right now. It's still going to be the Chiefs. And I think for the NFC, it's going to be, this might be a very, 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 very hot take, but it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. No, I know I've said that the Cowboys can't win in big games, and Mike McCarthy isn't that great of a head coach. Dak Prescott is a good QB, but not a great QB. Sorry for the sniffling and stuffy nose there. I'm getting over a cold, so sorry for that, as you probably hear. But besides that, yeah, the Cowboys just can't win in big games, and for that reason, I have the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Dallas Cowboys 33-24 in Super Bowl 59 or 58. 58 or 59, I forget. But it's in Las Vegas. You guys can look it up. Now, let's move on to our next segment. So, this next segment will be some MLB news, and oh my, I have things to rant about today, and it has to do with the Boston goddamn Red Sox. So, the Red Sox ownership is pathetic. The Red Sox ownership needs to sell the team. Red Sox ownership needs to be kicked out of Major League Baseball fully and completely. There's no reason that the Red Sox, one of the biggest markets in baseball, behind the Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, behind those type of teams, the Dodgers, matter of fact, have spent $1.1 billion this offseason. The most money any team has ever spent in MLB history. Now, I'm not saying the Red Sox should be spending that type of money, but the Red Sox need to spend money to compete, because you don't just spend money just to spend money. You spend your money smartly, and I think if the Red Sox want to win, they have to spend their money smartly and actually spend money. They have to make good trades. They have to trade for superstars. They have to be smart with scouting. They have to call up their good prospects. They have to develop their good prospects. And they also have to get more pitching, and they have to develop some pitching. They have to trade for some pitching. They have to sign some pitching. Whatever it takes for this team to be a World Series contender year in and year out, like the old Red Sox we know, like the 2018 Boston Red Sox that we once knew. I think whatever it takes, I'm willing to do it as long as ownership is also willing to do it. Because if ownership is not willing to do it, then I'm sorry, but I think there has to be a change somewhere in ownership, and there's not going to be any doubts, because I think in the next couple of years, if we keep on being mediocre and bad and finishing last place, second to last place, I think fans here in Boston will be calling for new ownership sometime soon, because this is getting really pathetic now that we can't even spend $200 million on a goddamn player when we're the damn Boston Red Sox. So there has to be a set limit to how much money you spend, but $200 million can't be it. We're the Red Sox. We should be able to hand that checkbook out to any player we want. Any player that we need or want on this team, we should be able to give them however much money they want. No matter if it's a superstar, no matter if it's a star, you should be handing the checkbook over to any player that wants to be here in Boston or is currently here in Boston, like Tristan Casas, Brian Bayo. There is no reason for the Red Sox not to spend money. We're not the Rays, we're not the Pirates, and we're definitely not the Oakland Athletics. So, how about Red Sox ownership gets to realize that this is not all fun and games where the Red Sox shouldn't be competing, because this team realistically should be competing for a World Series championship, for the AL East crown, year in and year out, no matter what. There's no excuses. This team should be able to give up the prospects to win. Now, prospects are also good, but they're not proven yet. And if you can trade your top prospect who is not proven yet for a superstar, I will do it. There is no doubt in my mind that I would not do it. So, yeah, that's my little mini rant there on the Boston Red Sox. Now let's move on to some other teams. Well, as I mentioned about a couple minutes ago, the Dodgers. Wow. The Dodgers. Wow. They are probably the scariest team in baseball now that we will face, that any team will face, matter of fact, in Major League Baseball. Ohtani, Yamamoto, they're eyeing Josh Hader. They want to trade for Shane Bieber and Emmanuel Clase from the Guardians. This team is just going to be stacked. This team is just going to be a God squad. Literally, it's going to be an MLB The Show God squad if they pick up Bieber and Clase from the Guardians. As a matter of fact, the Dodgers still will have a great farm system because they probably will only have to go 2 or 3 of their top prospects to the Guardians for both of them. So they'll still have an amazing farm system, and the Dodgers can develop prospects no matter what. I was about to use another term, but that's not appropriate for this channel, because I'm not going to use that language on this channel because I want this to be monetized. So, yeah. So, God, it just makes me so damn mad that the Red Sox and the Dodgers are so far apart, money-wise and talent-wise, excuse me. So, yeah. That is something that I can't believe I'm even saying. They should be somewhat close in money. Not spend. And by the way, I am not saying the Red Sox should spend $1 billion each offseason. No, that's absurd. That's absurd to even get your hopes up for a team to spend $1 billion. But the Red Sox still need to look at themselves and look at themselves in the mirror and say, we are some cheap owners. We need to get better as an ownership group, as a team, and as an organization And we need to make sure that this Boston Red Sox team, like I've said millions of times already in this podcast, that this team is competing year in, year out, no matter what. And even if that's handing out $300 million next year, next offseason to Juan Soto, or handing out a big contract to Roki Sasaki if he's a free agent next offseason, that starter from Japan, who's probably the best pitcher in the world. No matter what it takes, you need to have something set in place. And this team should be winning, not losing like they've done for the past 4 years, damn years now, but they should be winning every single year possible. This isn't no Tampa Bay Rays situation where we're just gonna, wait until they're a free agent. No, wait 1 year before they're a free agent, trade them for prospects, develop those prospects into superstars, then we're going to make those prospects into superstars and then trade those prospects and then trade those superstars for some more prospects and then make them into superstars. No, that's not how it should work here in Boston. We have a higher standard than those bottom tier markets in Major League Baseball, or at least we should have a higher standard. Those teams, if you have not noticed, don't know how to win. The Rays win it are competitive every year. That's because of how amazing their development system is and how good they are at trading players and how little money they spend. Their player development is amazing. That's where Chaim Bloom, the former Red Sox chief baseball officer, came from, is the Tampa Bay Rays. And do you know why the Red Sox ownership hired Chaim Bloom? Is because of that reason, that we needed a better farm. But Chaim Bloom only focused on the farm system. His two big signings were Masataka Yoshida and Trevor Story. Now, before Story came to Boston, he was great. He was elite. But once he stepped foot into that Red Sox uniform, he became the ultimate garbage can. No offense to Trevor Story. He became an injury-prone garbage can. So, yeah. That's my thoughts there. But now let's move on to the next and final segment of today's episode. So, with this next segment, I'm going to be talking about, should Major League Baseball have a salary cap because of what the Dodgers are doing? And in my opinion, no. A salary cap, a salary floor is not needed in baseball. And for the people who think that, well, you don't like having fun and you don't like seeing things be fun. See, baseball is one of those sports where you need to have fun mixed in. Look at the NBA has superstars moving year in and year out, no matter what. Has players getting traded, has players getting signed to only like 5-year deals and having that superstar get moved every 5 years. There is no reason why Major League Baseball needs to have a salary cap or a salary floor. There's no reason. That would limit so much that players can do or how much money players can sign for. And I think that's ridiculous. And look at the NFL and how the NFL is performing with a salary cap. Superstar players do not move teams because of that salary cap. Players do not move teams. Players want to stick with their teams and then restructure their contracts just because they want to stay on that team. And that's not how it works in baseball. Baseball players, they know there's no salary cap, there's no salary floor, so they can go to the free agent market and get more money from another team than they would from a from their team that they just played on. So that's the reason why I think Major League Baseball does not need a salary cap or a salary floor. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Next Up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to leave a comment. And, well, I will see you guys whenever there's another Next Up.